Hey Twitter, how you guys doing? So I have a question. All these questions are coming through about private equity, and they want to know. So let's ask the question. Here it is. F. Williams. F. Williams says, I got caught up in the AMC ape movement, and now I'm so deep that I don't know when to cut my losses. I've also been wondering, how can private equity not have a plan to grow a company for their own benefit? Adam Aron is out there meeting investors, seemingly trying to rebuild trust, and I thought he was there for that benefit. But by engaging with the public like this, isn't he exposing himself to potential stock manipulation charges? These meetings, blah, blah, blah. Okay, listen, you're asking all the right questions, and then you say they seem to benefit Apollo and its allies, but not Adam Aron himself, so why would they risk one of their cash cows? And then it goes on to say, could Adam Aron actually be trying to do the right thing, or are fundamentals so bad that he simply can't fix them, even if he wanted to? At the same time, he's helping Apollo cash in, but they're sacrificing him for their gain? That's the question. I know it's a lot, but I'd love to hear your take. P.S. I'm also heavily into GameStop and AMC, more than AMC. All right, so we got through it all, okay, in under a minute. Here's the thing. Buckle in, okay? Connect the Dots Part 33. It's a video I did like 2 years ago. In 2001, Apollo Global Management bought out AMC movie theaters. Yeah, 25 years ago. Apollo's not here per se, but Apollo's directing the ship. That would be Adam Aron. I'm going to explain something to you. When Apollo bought them in 2001, they were a privately run company. They were not publicly traded. It was time to cash in on this mega company that had been doing business for 100 years, and they did that. They cashed in on this company, and they partnered up with JP Morgan. Now, when they partnered up with JP Morgan, it was 2004, and they did a 51-49 deal, where it's actually 50.1% of the ownership goes to JP Morgan, 49.9% goes to Apollo. Guys, from that day forward, you've been buying into an Apollo-run company and a JP Morgan-run company. This is not the movie theater company that they want you to believe you're saving. You're not saving anybody, right? So let's go ahead and fast forward, because when you think about Apollo, and you think about the Solo building. I want people to remember this. It's called the Solo building. It's in New York. And at the time, Apollo was a tenant, right? And on an adjacent floor, you had KKR. On an adjacent floor, you also had Silver Lake. Now, what happens when you start carving out assets and you start going public, like AMC has gone? The plan is not to grow the business. Let me read this to myself one more time. You said, AMC Ape, I want to know, I'm so deep that I don't know when to cut my losses. Okay, let's go there first, okay? You don't know when to cut your losses. Well, we've been making videos for 4 years to tell you, run for the hills, but you haven't cut your losses. AMC did a reverse stock split 10-1. Their float is now 480 million shares after that reverse stock. You are sitting in a float of 4.8 billion, and you can't get out. You're trapped because they're offering up equity. That's what they're offering up to pay off their debt. We're talking about shareholder equity, shares, diluting you. There's no way, but that's the game. The game is to expand on someone else's debt. When a company goes public, it intends to take the money from the public. That's the way it works. Certainly in companies that have private equity on the board of directors, you have to know. You have to do your own homework. But look at this. How can private equity not plan to grow a company for their own benefit? They utilize other people's wealth, not their own. When they leverage you on debt, they're using your money, shareholder equity money. They're not using their own personal profits, their own cash. That's not the way GPs work, general partners work. They invest money into companies, yes, but it's not there to maximize their returns for profit. Nobody's here to operate for profit. That's not the way this works. It's not the way business works, believe it or not. Certainly not in the stock market, in this cash-free world. If I could borrow money, leverage the borrowed money, and expand and grow forever, like buy 1,000 dead movie theaters, everyone involved, listen to me, okay? When you say private equity, why wouldn't it grow for their benefit? Who are you talking about? Like 7 people? 10 people? I'm telling you, a private equity firm and an LP, right, limited partner, goes in on GP on a fund, and how many people are in on that fund that raised money? A couple of $1 billion. Let's just say it's 20 people. 20 people are going to get the profits. They're going to get the fees and commissions, right? You're going to see one guy in charge of the fund get fees. You're going to see a couple of board of directors get placed on the board. They don't get money out of the till, out of the popcorn you sell, out of the movie tickets you sell. They don't get any of that. They get bonuses. They get stock options in which they sell. Right? It's just a couple of guys. I don't know who you're trying to benefit for. You want to benefit for the people? You got to invest in the companies that actually make a profit. Let's think about it. AMC movie theaters retained earnings are at $8.5 billion loss. There are no earnings. It's a deficit. Shareholder equity is in a negative. Shareholder deficit. They've already taken the cover. They actually took everything out of this company before it ever went public. And then when it went public, they sold it to China. They sold to China and they put their man on the board of directors, Jerry Geraldo. They actually put him on there. Geraldo, I forget his last name. But it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't. He's on the board of directors for Icon right now. But who cares? Private equity. But when they put Adam Aron in there, I want you to remember this. It's almost like Kohl's. They put Adam Aron in there, and the first thing he did, $1.5 billion. He borrowed $2 billion, and he bought dead movie theaters. Expand, overextend yourself. You overextend, and then you file for bankruptcy. But before you ever file for bankruptcy, you suck out every ounce of equity. And they were preparing themselves for bankruptcy, guys. 2019, they hired Sean Goodman. He's their new CFO. They come in. They actually gave out pay in tranches for shares just for the share spike. They took a decrease in pay right before they spiked the stock. Why wouldn't you guys talk about this? This is trust me. I have a video about this like 3 years ago. You can go look at it. Go listen to the earnings call in 2020. Go listen to the earnings call in 2019. None of these investors have done it. I have. And I'm not even an investor in that company. I wanted to warn the people. But I'll keep reading so you understand. Apollo Global Management and JP Morgan teamed up in 2004. They took this company public 2014, 13, 14, 15, in that range right there. They go public. And what happens? To pump the stock, they dump it on you. They extend everything. And who actually made all their money? Adam Aron already made his money. He gifted his kids shares at $30 and $40 a piece. He sold himself from 40, 30, and 20, and the stock price today is at 20 cents a share, the equivalent. There's no equity here. They took it all out. They knew the value of the company. They knew it wasn't there when every single insider sold every single share they own. 99.9% of all shares the insiders were holding, they sold. They do things. Adam Aron does parade around town. And he uses it like we're trying to survive. They're trying to bankrupt us. He doesn't care. That's him justifying the dilution of your investment to you, not to himself. He's awarded shares. He's not buying shares. Last time any insider of AMC bought shares was right before they did a special dividend payout for same said shares. They have this bylaw in the prospectus. It says that the CEO, CFO, chairman, all these, they got to hold a certain amount of shares. You ever ask Sean Goodman why he doesn't? He has 5 years. 5 years to hold X amount of shares. His 5 years are almost up off that new bylaw. How many shares does he own? Google it. I'm going to go with 0. I'm going to go with he sells them the minute they come in. He doesn't anticipate being here much longer. None of them do. That's the way around that loophole. Now, by engaging with the public, does he expose himself to stock manipulation charges? No. He's trying to galvanize the public. He's trying to tell them, hey, we're going to try to make it. Buy some more popcorn. We're coming up with every great idea, all at the wrong time. Is he ever going to admit what he did? I'm not talking about Ape. I'm asking you. F. Williams, that's your name? Hey, F. Williams, how much integrity do you have? Adam Aron was blackmailed, okay? Who he thought was a Russian ballerina sending him naked photos and film. And he said, you remind me of someone that I met in Russia, a 17-year-old ballerina. Do you not know Adam Aron's relationship with Apollo Global Management? He worked there for X amount of years. You do know Jeffrey Epstein. You're aware of his connection with Apollo Global Management and Leon Black. Leon Black, he actually paid for the airplanes to travel people back and forth. Allegedly, Leon Black paid, not allegedly, he did pay Jeffrey Epstein $150 million for tax revenue services. for tax services. Hey, you helped me save money on taxes. I'm gonna pay $160 million. Like, what are they really paying for? What are they really doing? I'm asking. You want the true connections between Apollo and Aron himself? This is documented. He sent dick pics to a young lady he thought was of age, 18 years old. He's 68 years old. 69, 70 years old this year. You want to send pictures to somebody 50 years younger? Thinking you're going to get an arousal out of them? And you stagger around the company trying to tell people, hey, our stock is going to be great. Just keep investing. Keep doing it. Why don't you invest, Aron? He doesn't. You want to know when to cut bait with this company? The minute you found your CEO was not a person that you want to hang around with. Would you trust your daughter next to Aron? Hell no. But let's keep going. Don't make it personal, Marantz. Let's keep it about business. Let's talk about business. I'm a fan of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones, doesn't plan on winning a Super Bowl anytime soon. Nope. He's not in it to win it. He'll say it. He'll walk around town saying it. He'll go into meetings and say it. But his actions say otherwise, right? He has the most profitable team in the whole NFL, if not all of sports. How do you do that? Because it's not about what you say, it's about what you do. The product you put out there, the product you actually surround yourself with, the business of business. Private equity does this all the time. They don't care about profits. They're not here for profits. They're here to trim the fat, make it very valuable to the next sucker that comes in. But there's more to it. This is where we talk about the two pens. Remember when I explained? I'm going to explain something to you. When you take one private equity firm and they go and cut it all up and shape it up and carve out all the fat for you, carve out all the assets and vulture them off to other private equity firms, I now can sell this new shiny piece to the next private equity firm. You know who made money off of AMC? Silver Lake. Silver Lake made over $1 billion right when it happened, right when it exploded in January of 2021. Go look at it. $1 billion. Best friends, Apollo and Silver Lake. The same Apollo and Silver Lake that partnered up and bought out Expedia.com. There's so many times private equity rubs each other's back. And then I got one more for you. I follow Apollo. I follow what they do. But when you see deals being done between Apollo and Ares, you should really know what that is. Ares Capital. Ares Capital, their founder is Tony Ressler. Anthony Ressler. He owns the Atlanta Hawks. Maybe minority owners of Atlanta Hawks now own the Charlotte Hornets or whatever, but maybe you know this part. But do you know who his wife is? Deborah Black. You see, he married his best friend's sister. His best friend being Leon Black. The same Leon Black that they worked at Drexel Burnham Lambert together. So Apollo and Ares are actually related. They're brother-in-laws. Yeah. And they're doing deals together. How do you think that goes down in Thanksgiving? I think we should do this. I think you should do that. Hey, how about you run the price up on that one and I'll buy it? How about you do that? Yeah, we'll do that. What kind of conversations do you think are really happening out here in the back rooms, in the cigar rooms? They're mad about social media. They're mad about Reddit. They're mad about TikTok and Twitter, about us sharing information. Do you know what the hell they're doing? Now, how does it benefit Apollo? It doesn't benefit Apollo. Apollo's already been out of it. Apollo's out. Apollo might come in and scoop up. Might buy in on something, but I don't know. I don't care. These guys know that they're going to make money any which way. How about this? Do you know Regal movie theaters? They went bankrupt, right? Do you know why they went bankrupt? It was a deal with AMC, if I'm not mistaken. It's weird. It was weird. You got to go look at that one. Like, who actually put them into bankruptcy? It was themselves. And they backed out of a deal and then got sued on it. It's kind of crazy. Hey, Carmike Movie Theaters got bought out by AMC, and they're already a dead, failing company. AMC says, I'll overpay for those movie theaters. Odin Movie Theaters the same way. I'll overpay for those movie theaters. F. Williams, it says a lot to me when you say you're also heavy into GameStop. I mean, how the hell are you heavy into GameStop and yet you own AMC? Like, are you just buying things because people told you to? do some homework, man, and do the history. Know what you're buying and know who you're buying. That's it. We'll talk about private equity another day. Peace.